Hi guys, this is Allyson Lewis with the 7-Minute Life. I'm a time management expert, and the 7-Minute Life is a time management company. And today I'm going to be sharing my definition of time management. It is kind of hard to get your arms around it, so this is my definition. It's time management is a process of planning the length of time you will consciously choose and deliberately focus your attention, starting and completely finishing one specific activity. Let me just break that down into a few different pieces. Is that as I look at this, time management is what we're talking about. It is a process of planning, pure and simple. You have to have some kind of repeatable process, and you have to plan what you're going to do. Then you're going to have to know how long it's going to take to do something. You're going to have to consciously choose which activities you'll do. Then you have to learn how to focus. You have to focus your attention. And boy, those are two of the things we really talk about at the 7-Minute Life. So in fact, that's probably the number one thing, is that when you understand how limited your attention span is, understanding that we can help you work within those limits, focusing and attention is really important. So time management is a process of planning the length of time you will consciously choose and deliberately focus your attention, starting and completely finishing only one activity. So what does all that look like? Well, again, these are just kind of written down up here. It's a process. The 7-Minute Life believes that there are 24 hours in a day. Let me back up. There are 24 hours in a day. That makes 1,440 minutes. 1% of that would be 14 minutes. Our process is that we want you to take 1% of your time, 7 minutes in the evening and 7 minutes in the morning. And we want you to take those times, 7 minutes in the morning, so 7 minutes in the evening and 7 minutes in the morning. And we want you to take that time, that process, and take that time to plan. This is a repeatable process. It is repeatable over and over again. You have to have some kind of process of planning. You want to be able to repeat it. There are 24 hours in a day. That's 1,440 minutes. We're going to ask you to take 1% of your time, 7 minutes in the evening and 7 minutes in the morning, to think about what you want to accomplish and to plan what you will do. So that's our process. But it is a process of planning, and planning always starts with thinking about what you want to do and then taking it out of your conscious thought and putting it onto paper. This is the most common place that people start with time management, and the to-do list is very important. But this to-do list is often found written, and this is my best drawing of an envelope, on the back of an envelope, and you just take your pen out and you start scrawling things out. And I wonder if that's really a plan or it was just random. You know, you really want to have a plan that you can commit to. I mean, you know, if you're going to put something on your list, it needs to count. So this to-do list, you know, is good. It's a starting place. For us, this is what you would do in the evening. The 7 minutes in the evening, you just think about what you need to do and you put it on your to-do list. But as we go through, I'm going to clean that up. As we go through in the 7 minutes at the evening, again, we're just talking about taking your 1% of your day to plan. This is the evening. You created your to-do list. But then you have to think about it and prioritize it. You have to take some time to prioritize, okay, here are all the things I need to do. Here are all the things I could do, but what will I do? Well, at work, the two things that need to be done more than anything else is that you need to start the marketing budget and you need to draft the proposal. This is just hypothetical. But these are the two things that you must get done. All of these other things still need to get done. But what if you took these two things and put it on, again, a repeatable process, a tool that you could use over and over again so that your brain would get familiar. We call this tool the Daily Progress Report. This is, in fact, our number one tool. This is kind of what got the 7-Minute Life started. And what you do when you prioritize, you take off your to-do list and you put your most important things, the most important things in what we call the 5 before 11 section here. And if you just put those 1 or 2 or 3 things here, If you were able to accomplish 5 things every day and get them marked off your list in just a week, in 7 days, you would have accomplished 35 high-value activities. In 90 days, if you would just use this tool, if you just use this part of the tool, in 90 days, 5 before 11, you would have marked 450 high-value activities off of your list. And you can go here to the 7minutelife.com/tool to find this tool, and it's free. In fact, we have more than 24 tools there that are free. So it's a process of planning. But it's also a process of planning how long it's going to take. There are 24 hours in the day, but how would your day look if you broke it into 15-minute increments? So after you have broken this down, you've prioritized, here are the 2 things. You know, all this other stuff you want to do, that's a whole nother piece of information. You've put these 2 things on your 5 before 11 list. You might have some other things that need to go on there. If that's the case, how long is it going to take? Here we're just starting the marketing budget. Okay, so I'm going to budget out an hour. This is my 9 o'clock. I'm going to come in at 8. I'm going to kind of get organized, and I'm going to work for an hour on the marketing budget. So you put that on your, this is called the 15-minute increment tracking worksheet, and it just gives you an idea of how long things are going to take. And drafting this proposal is really probably going to take 3 hours. So maybe you'll get started on that at 1 o'clock and go all the way to 4 on it. So 1, 2, 3 hours. When you look at this, you can see that you need to know how long things can take, because now this part of your day, this is coming in, just getting organized, this is doing this, and this is doing this on the draft. You have an 11 o'clock staff meeting. You're going to have lunch. And all of a sudden you look at your day and you realize, oh, you've only got 1 hour from 10 to 11 to get anything done. And you've got all this other stuff to do. So this worksheet is a tool to help you have a reality check of how long things are going to really take. And that's really excellent. All right, so step number 4 is to consciously choose the task that you will do. What is going to go on your 5 before 11 list? Okay, if you know you have a limited amount of time, we looked at that here, you have a limited amount of time, then what are you going to choose to put on that 5 before 11 list? Obviously, we all have gazillions of things to do. So how are you going to choose? Well, you're going to prioritize them like we've talked about, and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this, number 2. I'm going to do this, number 3. I need to make sure I make that phone call, number 4, and I have to complete this project, number 5. So you're going to consciously choose. You can't do 100 things. You might only be able to do 2 things, or hopefully you can accomplish 5 things before 11 o'clock. But you have to choose. You've got all these things, all these distractions. But then you have to deliberately focus your time and all of your focus. This is really hard. Again, the definition, you have to have a process. You have to plan out what you're going to do. You have to know how long it's going to take. You have to choose which things you're going to do, but then you have to focus. And boy, focusing your attention, that's the toughest thing. That's why we talk about 7 minutes. The average adult has an attention span of somewhere between 2 seconds and 20 minutes. And that's just from science. Our attention will oscillate, and I would try to spell that, but it would oscillate throughout the day. Your attention does this. You know, you get bored, you get excited. So the hard part is to find these, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things that you can do, and try to do them within your attentional bandwidth, which try to do projects in sections that are around 20 minutes. And when you do them, really focus your attention. Try to get rid of the distractions, because that's how your time management is going to improve. And you really can only focus on one activity at a time. You can't multitask. You can't do all of that other stuff. You have to learn how to start one task and finish a task. If you have 5 things on your 5 before 11 list, start number 1 and finish it. Start number 2 and finish it. Start number 3, start and finish 4, start and finish 5. It's all about starting and finishing, which means that you've got to be committed. You've got to know, you've got to prioritize. And so the final step is you've got to be able to start. So it means you need to know what you're going to do, and you have to be able to get finished. If you don't finish, and if you start something and all of a sudden you choose, nope, I think I'll do something else, this stops here. So this is the same task, let's assume. Your goal was to start and completely finish it so you could mark it off your list. And what happens is, with all good intentions, you begin the task, but then something happens and you stop. And you think, no big deal. I'll go back, I'll pick it back up. But all of a sudden what happens is that you never did pick it up. You look up at 6 o'clock at night and you've got to leave and you didn't even finish. So the next day it rolls over to your calendar, and because time has passed, you start over again. So everything you did yesterday is really lost. And how many times have you done that? And then finally this rolls over again until it rolls over for 20 years and not 20 years, for 2 months, and you've never gotten it done. So as we wrap up, this is my definition of time management. It's a process. It's a process of planning. The length of time, so time management, you have to manage how long something will take. You have to consciously choose, and you have to deliberately focus your attention on what you're going to do. But boy, oh boy, beginning and starting and completely finishing, that's when you get it moved off, and you can only do one specific activity at a time. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this short definition of time management. We have a tremendous number of tools at the 7minutelife.com/tools. That's what we do, is I create repeatable processes and systems to help individuals and businesses. I'm a personal coach. I help executives manage their time, communications, and goal setting, and I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and make sure to hit like. This is Allyson Lewis with the 7 Minute Life.